Huzur, there is a question from Sweden, from Sister Dr. Kanta. And she said, when reading the religious books, we often find that remarkable phenomena are seen to verify the truth of the Prophet, like sun or moon becoming dark. Right now, we can observe a big comet in the sky. We have seen it for about a week, and we are told it might be seen for some more days before it fades away. Does it have any special importance as a sign for us as Ahmadis?
I'll inshallah turn to this question after the translation as well, after the translation of course, but I have got something to say regarding what I was telling you during our last session, something to add to what I was telling you. I just briefly mentioned the name of a big holy man from Sindh, who is a leader of millions of Sindhis, not only in Sindh, but also he is highly respected and revered in many parts of the Punjab. So I requested Imam Sahib to bring a short note on who he was and the name and actually what happened. Because sometimes if you just mention something from memory, there's some mistakes here and there which have to be removed. First of all, a brief history of this family of peace, which have ruled the spiritual life of Sindh for many centuries. One of the elders who inherited his status as a peer from his elders, he divided his authority into two, because he had two sons. So instead of both of them or one of them inheriting the authority of that we call peer, which means a religious divine who is held in high esteem. So instead of continuing one inheriting the father from among the children, he divided them equally, the authority equally between two of his sons. One, whose name was Rasheeduddin, was given the flag or as a sign of his authority. His flag was given over to one of his sons whose name was Rasheeduddin. And to the other son he gave his turban as a sign of his authority. So ever since they are called Sahib-e-Alam and Sahib-e-Pagdi, that is means to say Peer Alam Shareef and Peer Pagdi. And the Pagdi is pronounced in Sindh as Pagado. So that is why they have emerged in two branches. One is Peer Pagada, the spiritual head with the turban, and the other is Peer Alam Shareef, the spiritual head with the flag. Now when Hazrat Masih was commissioned by God, at that time, Sayyid Rasheeduddin, the Peer Sahib Sayyid Rasheeduddin, who was the possessor of Alam, he held supremacy over the rest, and he was the most highly powerful and influential Peer of Sindh. By comparison to his own brother, he held greater authority. But now the things have changed. That Peer and his followers, of course they exist, but they do not hold any strong hold on politics, so they have just gradually dissipated into background. And the Peer of Pagada has gained much importance because of his political role and things. Now, it is this Peer which I mentioned, Peer Sahib of Alam Shareef. At the time of Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam, I said millions. When I said millions, perhaps now there are millions, but at that time the number was comparatively smaller. According to this report, he was the Peer Sahib Alam, was the Peer of more than 100,000 Sindhis who followed him. Is this an excerpt from a letter?
Yes, it's letter quoted by Muslim.
A letter?
Yes.
Written to him?
Yes.
Huh?
He wrote letter to
This is exactly his. Now, Imam Sahib has brought me an excerpt from Zamima Anjam Atham, page 344, which has reproduced a copy of a letter by the Peer Sahib addressed to Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam. He did it because ulama, or the religious, clerics and divines of that time, they pressed him hard to declare Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam as an impostor and non-Muslim. So in response to that, when he prayed what God told him, he also wrote with his own pen to Hazrat Masih Maud alayhi salam. And this letter was published during his lifetime. And it was never denied. So that is a proof that this is exactly what he wrote. I'm telling this background because I want to prove the authenticity of all this statement. The letter which he wrote reads, إني رأيت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم واستفسرته في أمرك وقلت بين لي يا رسول الله أهو كاذب مفتري أو صادق فقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إنه صادق من عند الله فعرفت أنك على حق مبين فبعد ذلك لا نشك في أمرك ولا نرتاب في شانك ونعمل كما تأمر فإن أمرتنا أن نذهب إلى بلاد أمريكا فأنا نذهب إليها وما تكون لنا خيرا في أمرنا وستجدنا خيرة في أمرنا وستجدنا إن شاء الله من المطاوعين, which means that I saw Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in a vision, and I begged of him to inform me whether this man who claims to be Masih Maud, the promised Messiah, whether he is right or wrong or an impostor. The answer which he gave me was, he is most certainly true. He is from God. From that I immediately understood that your feet are entrenched on, your feet are on truth. It's an expression which may mean that you are on the right. Truth is with you. So from now on, he addresses to himself, we shall never doubt. We shall never doubt about your great status, and we shall never hesitate to follow whatever you order us. We will do exactly what you command us to do. if you tell us to go to America, at that time, you know, it was supposed to be a very difficult task, you know. If you command us to go to America, there shall we go. We have handed us completely over to you and your authority. And God help me, and God willing, you will always find me a humble servant of yours. This is the testimony of a godly person of that time. He did not care a fig for whatever his own followers thought of him. Perhaps that truth might have cost him the loss, the leadership which he held, and the greater sway he held over his own followers by comparison to his brother. So the people, as they turned worldly, and it was very difficult for them to swallow this bitter cup of their own peer, pronouncing clearly in the clearest possible terms his servitude to Hazrat Masih Maud, his submission to him. So I'm sure that must have worked, but he did not care. He was a godly person. So what I told last time was that this is how it always happens. The divinely guided people never oppose other divinely people. They always support. So this is exactly what happened at the time of Hazrat Masih Maud. One other incident which I remember from the Ahmadiyya history is that once a man who seemed to be lost to the world, you know, there are some dervishes, like in Turkey, you know, so many dervishes who break their ties with the world and put dust in on their head and are dressed in just rags to indicate that they are not of this world anymore. They belong to God. And sometimes they appear to be slightly, you know, unhinged, because they just are not interested in the worldly things. Such a person once visited Qadian. While Hazrat Masih Maud was leading the Asr prayer, or whatever it was, I don't exactly remember, but some prayer in congregation. After the prayer, this man stood up and said, "Accept my hand in Bai'ah, in initiation." Hazrat Masih looked up to him and said, "Yes." And he said, "All right, now leave, permit me to leave." So just that, and he started leaving. One of the companions of Hazrat Masih did not like this behavior, because he thought it was arrogance on his part. On the one hand, he says, "Accept me and take me in your fold, accept me as your servant," and on the other, he just probably says, "All right, that's done, I'm going." So he went after him and inquired from him, "What have you done?" We approached him and inquired from him, "What have you done? If you have really come to benefit from an imam appointed by God, you should stay here in his company and benefit from that company." So in response to this question, this reproach, he said, "We don't need anything. We are already there," indicating the heavens. We don't belong to this earth. We already are there with God. So he retorted, the companion, "If you're already there, if you belong there, why did you take the trouble of coming all the way to Qadian and begging him to accept you in his fold?" He said, "I shouldn't have done it of my own will," he said. Up there, they beat you with shoes if you don't go down and accept this man. Punjabi expression is very strong. Jutiya pehniyan. I didn't do it on my own accord. I didn't want to do it. But up there, they beat you with shoes if you do not go down and accept this godly man. That is the only purpose why I have come. So this is another proof how God sees to it that those who belong to Him never oppose those who have been appointed by Him and commissioned by Him. Right? But everything is clear now. Yeah.